Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here back with another Let's Play. And this is another revisited Let's Play. This is one I've done before, but I'm doing it again now with slightly better technology, slightly better experience under my belt. Why is it under the belt? That's kind of a disturbing saying when you think about it, because it makes you think of genitals.
Sonic.
Anyway,
Software Planning.
a game done by Working Designs and one of my favorite developers of all time, Sonic Software Planning, that later on became Camelot Software Planning. This is Shining Wisdom. This was Sega's response to Legend of Zelda, much like Alundra was Sony's response to The Legend of Zelda, both done by Working Designs. Of the two, I'd say this is probably my favorite, but in all honesty, this one lacks a lot of depth. It's a very on the surface version of Zelda, whereas I think Alundra was the exact opposite. It was trying to be a little too much, like swinging in opposite ends of the spectrum. As you can see, we have an elf with dark, creepy powers and no mouth, threatening a king and his advisor in the throne room. And elsewhere, we're going to have a princess having nightmares in a room full of nothing other than this bed, and the bad guys that show up. So, this game kind of looked on as the black sheep of the Sonic or Camelot Software Planning Shining era. The Shining fans tend to split the Shining series into two groups. You've got the post Camelot era and then the pre Camelot era. So basically before or after PC. This one, for the pre Camelot era, not exactly the favorite because of its kind of cartoony style that you see when all of the art assets for like the manual and the pre-production, everything looks hyper realistic and it's very different. And then at the time, all Shining games were either dungeon crawlers or tactical games. So this was a departure even for them. So we get to pick our our character's name, and the default is Mars, which we're just going to keep Mars. Find a name has ever graced my ears. And this fairy will be with us through the end of the Shining series in terms of its chronology, when it was actually released. So, the fairy kindly tells us today will be the first day as Kingsguard at Odegan Castle. Circle is coming around yet again. Remember, Mars, regardless of how great the obstacles before you, never give up. Never give up. Never surrender. So, yeah, this game, the Shining fans don't like this one as much as others for the most part. I'm one of the few that I actually really like this game. But most Shining fans agree that this is still better than anything that was done after Camelot departed the franchise. So, come now, Mars, get your behind out of bed this very moment. You wouldn't want to be late on your very first day. I don't see how you could have forgotten this. This is the day you start the service of the castle. You have a big set of shoes to fill. Your father, Giles, was the greatest knight to ever serve the king. He wouldn't have dreamt of being late for his rounds in the castle. Alright, so we're learning a little bit of exposition. Our father was a great knight. Obviously, I don't really think these are our father. I think these are our grandparents. Not really sure which set of grandparents they are, if they were Giles's parents or if they were Mars's mother's parents. Hard to say. I also do apologize for the kind of flickering. This is the only game that I've played on my Saturn that has this issue with the weird flickering. It's strange. It just goes to show that the Saturn was really weird when it came to how it was programmed. I've never encountered the same graphical errors in one game as I have in other. So, I suppose I could try to record this one off of an emulator, but I really just hate dealing with Saturn emulation. much prefer dealing with the actual hardware, even with its weird little glitches like this. So Ebenezer is apparently our grandfather's name, just like Scrooge. Leave the shenanigans to the kids. We get to learn about all sorts of shenanigans. I was just killing time. And you're late as we pop into existence. What do you think of your grandson? He looks so much like his father. Again, are they... Once I'm sure he's remembered the acceleration skill I taught him. Alright, so this game uses an interesting mechanic, and by interesting I mean kind of frustrating. The acceleration skill. He mostly just watched me do it. I'm worried that he may not be able to use it in an actual battle situation. No one's ever going to actually use it in battle. Alright, so we cannot leave until we beat up our grandfather. So it's impossible to change it. You better show him what he wants to see. He's a tough old bag of bones. Alright, so the meter at the top, we have A, B, and C, which are our main buttons for equipment. Pressing the B button repeatedly charges up the 1, 2, or 3 gauge that is underneath our life, and you can see next to that there's a little shoe. That is the acceleration gauge. That actually affects our movement speed, and it will play into effect with using certain weapon attributes. So just keep pressing, work up to rank 4, and run into your grandfather to just complete... I kind of want to add in the scene from Grand Theft Auto 5, the wasted, but no. Alright, so... that skill is the only thing that will damage enemy if you're not equipped with a sword. Don't forget that. Which, I believe we have a sword, we just don't have it equipped. So... and apparently we, kind of beat the crap out of our grandfather. I mean, he asked for it, so... I've heard tales of those that added magic orbs to their skills. It's supposed to change the effect. If you find any orbs, equip them and retest your skill. That's the game's not so subtle way of telling you that there's a mix and match system for this game. That's actually really interesting. But the problem is the acceleration gauge is just frustrating. Your father was the greatest warrior this land has ever seen. Work hard to unlock the hero that lies within you. Your father would ask no less of you. Alright, so can we go now? I guess we can go. Alright, so... and we now have a sword equipped, which, again, much like Alundra, the perspective for this game didn't quite work out the same way it should have for, like, Legend of Zelda. Because it just doesn't seem to work the same way. Like, something that should be a hit doesn't register. The hitboxes for things are a little wonky. And then, like, enemy movement, you know, comes into the background and foreground. Because, well, I guess not really background and foreground, but, like, depth perception. And money abounds, so we need to make our way to the castle. And if you get lost, you can read signs. Odegan Castle West, Gudo Valley North. So we're going to go to Odegan Castle, which just west, deal with the pig cops. And then, not that way. It's still west. Further west. I mean, this is not a very safe kingdom if there are just random pig barbarians right outside your main gate. And ghosts? Nothing about this seems like a safe kingdom. And enemies will just constantly respawn. So... running into them, however, does do some damage. There are some, weird bushes like that, and you can actually see with the cloud, once the clouds are gone. So that's another fun thing, is the clouds don't really show up. There's a ladder there. We can deal with those things later. There's lots of things that pop up later, much like Legend of Zelda. That looks like something I should be able to interact with. Oh, you can later in the game. There's a whole bunch of people here in town. They kind of block your path so you can't go anywhere other than where the game wants you to go, which is right here. Please, you must heed my words. The fate of the entire realm of Odegan is at stake. If something is not done, all will be brought to ruin. You there, I see doubt in your eyes. You think me a loon? Yeah, pretty much. Plain for all to see. Heretics. Your indolence. That's a word you don't see often, indolence. That's definitely not one you see often enough. Who's an old woman who's gone off the deep end. I've been shown a vision of the future so terrible it has made me appear as mad. Or it's all that paint you're huffing. When the future that appeared in my crystal comes upon us, it will be too late. Don't you understand? We must prepare. Doomsday Preppers. Shining Series Edition. And basically all the guards are going to start ignoring the old lady. Better give mental health a tip on where to pick this one up. The demented old woman had a scary dream. We better listen to her. We'll have bad dreams. Okay, so basically everyone... I mean, everyone's kind of a dick, but let's face it, if you were walking down the street and someone said that they had a dream or a vision of your town in ruins, how serious would you take them? You must know by now that our land teeters on the brink of ignoring you. And away we go. And everyone else just kinda... We're just here to watch the freak show. Like I said, everyone kind of a dick, but... let's face it. And of course, we're the last person that she interacts with. And even then... Well... I feel kind of sorry for her, but... I don't know. Let's face it, if I saw someone speaking as I have, I'd think they were insane too. Well, at least you admit it. You realize it. That's... when all this is destroyed. Well, that's good to know, I guess. Alright, so we can wander around town. There is a church here that we can save at. We've got 205 gold. Let's go spend some. Come in, we have many rare and exotic items. Take a look around. Healing herb costs 10 gold. Do I want it? Yes. We're gonna buy a couple of these, because it's always worth having a couple of healing herbs, especially in a more action-oriented game. And that should be enough for now. And a record book allows us to save on the go. So we'll buy one of those. And then the Angel Wing, much like the Angel Wing or the Egress spell in Shining Force 2, exits you from a dungeon magically. So there's places to go. We can wander around here. There's a hidden door here. Talking to everyone, not really beneficial at the moment. So we'll go ahead and save. Sacred Church of Odegan. Welcome, weary traveler. Yeah, let's go ahead and record our adventure. And it's not reading my cartridge. Not that it matters, because it doesn't take up a lot of space. So save it on here, and then I'll have to reset and transfer to the memory card. Would I like to continue? Sure, we'll continue for now. How do you know my name? Alright, so come up over here. You must be the newcomer scheduled to start working at the castle today. Sir Kazel's been waiting for you, and you're late. Yep, I'm late. So, go inside. Your father's legend has left large shoes for you to fill. He's over there in the passage to the right. So, right here. But can't you wait? Well, I was told to... I mean, I didn't do anything. Pazort never contacted us afterwards. We try to reach Hobbit, but they harm the princess. Hobbit. I think this is the first and only time hobbits are mentioned in Shining lore. I also think that might have something to do with the localization. Okay, so they recognize me, apparently. Yeah, I'm Mars' son. Or Giles' son, Mars. I'm Mars' son. Alright. The lad I was telling you about earlier. He shall be in the king's employ here at the castle. The only son of Sir Giles. Blood of heroes courses through my veins. Well, that's... Alf. And Alfred. Not the space alien that eats cats, Alf, but an elf friend of ours that we will be pairing up with. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Shall I go see the king? Alright, so they're gonna go see the king, and Alf is gonna teach us, you know, he's gonna show us the ropes. And you, obviously, are Mars. I was expecting someone much larger. Our night watch doesn't start for a while. Why don't you take a look around? I'm gonna catch some Ziz in the Knight's Quarters until then. Alright, so we can wander around and look. There's really not much for us to do here that I can think of. It's just a, hey, you want to get used to the castle layout? Go around, you know, explore. So that's where Alfred is. This is where the king's main room is. And there's really, like I said, not much for us to do other than just kind of look around and get used to things. Take a quick tour around the castle. There's a lot of stuff that we are going to be able to do. There's a commotion near the main gate. Some trouble with the Hobbit Elder. Okay. And there's that, which we can fall into. And we get an angel wing. So, and the hidden door that is only one way. That's one of the reasons why I didn't buy an angel wing. Because kind of not worth it. So, I guess that's where I'll end this episode. I'll go save it and have that be the end of it. We've got, you know, plot to deal with coming up. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next installment, where we will take the night watch, I guess, is our next goal. What the hell? Did you guys see it? That's... What do you say? Didn't you creep in here earlier and block my sunlight? I don't talk to strangers, rodent-sized ones. Alright, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're kind of a bitch. Let's go. Let's leave creepy spinny lady to her own devices. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next installment. Till then, later everyone.